All right, good evening, Melissa. Hopefully this works. I hope you're doing well. I'm interested in the questions. I asked to move to the Instagram because it's easier than having to do this, and I am driving. When I get home, I'm not going to respond. I'm going to go straight to bed. I can't get up at 4. However, 1. It seems that you are coming at this already very defensive and very angry. So it's going to make constructive debate and criticism and critique very difficult. However, I will do my best to be kind and to acknowledge you and validate where you're coming from. So forgive me if I don't do a good job of it, because I'm a very abrasive individual. I deal with a bunch of idiots all day long. Thank God for the military. Anyway, what? I'm going to address the fact that you say that there's contradictions in the Bible. So the Bible is a very interesting book. I've read it 3 times, and each time I've learned a lot of things about it. The first time I read it was just kind of an understanding, puffed up knowledge, essentially. I was able to regurgitate a lot of stuff and didn't understand the concepts behind it. The second time I read it, I started to discover that the Bible will show you exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking for contradictions, you'll find them. If you're looking for answers to certain problems, you'll find them. If you're looking for how to live a good life and a life that emulates love for others, you'll find it. It's all in there. Now, the Bible doesn't have contradictions in the aspect of understanding what is truth and what is good. However, it will have human contradictions where people have done things differently because people are imperfect. Now, the Bible isn't this book that is immaculate, full of answers, because if it had all the answers, we wouldn't need God. And this ties us into the concept that God is not real. God is very much real. In fact, a God is anything that you put belief into. If you have belief in the human spirit, then the human spirit is your God. And it's kind of ironic because you start thinking about all the different things that we claim to believe, and if you wonder what you do believe, look at the things that you do. Because people will do and act out the things that they believe more than what they just say, because people say shit all the time that they don't mean and that they don't believe. So that's important to understand. So a God is anything that you put faith and belief into. If you put faith and belief into your own reason, then you yourself are a God, or a version of a God that you perceive, also known as Luciferianism. And I'm not here to defend Jordan Peterson. He's a very intelligent man. He can do it himself. However, I don't think you're attacking Peterson's beliefs as you were mine. So the whole point of this discussion forum is to debate and critique each other, and I get that. But let's hold off on the attacks and criticizing people's beliefs, because that's not okay. That is disrespectful. And you have a right to be disrespectful. I understand, but please don't. Thirdly, the passage about Elijah and the she-bear that killed 72-something odd kids. Probably like the third most metal story in the Bible, behind the chick just like straight nailing this dude's head to the ground with a 10 stake, or Josiah going in there left-handed and stabbing a sword so far in this dude's belly that it doesn't come out because he's so fucking fat. And then the all-time favorite one in Ezekiel is talking about a woman who loves her men whose loins are the size of horses and whose emissions are like donkeys. It's wild. Bible's wild book, man. It's probably one of the most metal books in history. However, all this being said, you said Jesus being nice. One thing I've learned is just talking to God. You can think what you want with that. It's fine. It hasn't led me wrong yet. It's actually bettered my life. And one thing that I've learned is the things that I'm angry at on earth, or with people, with friends, or people on the internet, I'm really angry at God. And when I sit there and I'm honest with myself, and I force myself to sit there and be real, I am angry at God. And it's okay, because God's not scared of my emotions. And there was a time where I was asking God, it's like, God, that's not very loving of you to have your creation go through this. It's not very loving of you that I'm having to suffer this certain thing. And I was hit with the idea of suffering and the idea of pain. Jesus was God coming to earth to take full accountability for his creation. And not only that, but to show creation how to take accountability for themselves. And in doing so, I learned that love is accountable. And it's extremely hard because sometimes accountability isn't fun. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. Does that make it not love? No, of course not. I think the problem that we run into now as a society is the etymology of the word love and how we use it. And the way that we use it now, we almost mean love as in a kindness. Like, oh, if you love me, you'll give me over to this thing that makes me happy. All right, tell that to a meth head. It's like, oh, if you love me, you'll let me continue doing meth. No, that's not love. Love is not an enabler. Love holds you accountable. Love forces you to grow, because that's what love does. And it's interesting because the more and more that I've drifted away from what I was taught versus what I've pursued to learn on my own, the ability to make the different connections with people that have done the same thing have improved. So if I can come up with an idea and I see this idea tested in my own life, and then I see that same idea, maybe worded a little differently, tested in the lives of others, and it still hold out to be true, then I can reasonably deduce that has some semblance of truth to that idea. Now, to close off the rambling, because I'm rambling because I'm driving, because I love these conversations, I have a lot of thoughts, I need to figure out how to organize them better in my head. Welcome to ADHD land. I am curious to why the aggression? Why the anger? I recall my post originally, and it wasn't attacking a belief system. It wasn't trying to force a belief system. It was just merely exploring a concept that I had been working on and I had been thinking about, and it was interesting to see somebody else's perspective and how it tied together with psychology. And I thought that was interesting. So if you wouldn't mind sharing where the aggression's coming from.